All right, welcome to week 2 of Varsity Viewpoint. I am Mr. Book, joined as always by Dane and Logan. And we have a special guest. Logan, you want to introduce him?
This week's special guest is Chuck Nasty, Chuck Kilpatrick. How you doing, Chuck?
Doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good, man, good.
Not
Yeah.
bad, not bad.
If you ever want to be a special guest like Chuck is this week, you can reach out to Mr. Book or reach out to us on Instagram, and we'll try our best to get you on the show.
Cool. All right, so we're going to do things a little bit different this week. We want it to be more conversational, less informational. We're not going to talk a ton about CM sports. We're going to talk about whatever we want, really.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk college football, we're going to talk NBA, MLB, and there will be a little bit of CM stuff too. So make sure you stick around for that. I'm also going to do the exclusive interview with Chuck Nasty. So, Dane, why don't you lead us into the first talking point for college football, and we'll see what everybody thinks.
Man, it was a crazy, crazy week in college football. I mean, obviously the big thing was Vandy taking down number 1 Alabama. I think they went up 14-0 early in the game, and I joked with my dad. I was like, "Yeah, Vandy's gonna win. Vandy's gonna win," and then they actually pulled it off. It was, I mean,
Yeah, at halftime, I said the game's not over. Like, I'm not a betting man. But if I were, I would have waited till like it was even money for Alabama to win, and I would have lost a lot of money on that game.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely thought they were going to come back.
I was in Colorado, so I didn't get to see it because I was with my family. But I looked back at my phone later that night, and I thought I was misreading it. Like, I thought it was a joke when I first saw it on Instagram. It was just insane to me that happened.
Those are the best. You're trying to refresh real quick and
Yeah.
see if it's really that. But they were not the only ones to go down. Several top 10 teams went down. Several ranked teams. I think 4 in the top 10.
I think
yeah,
4 top
it
10 teams.
should have
yeah.
been 5. Cal should have beat Miami, but
Oh yeah, that was a
Oh.
1-point game.
and,
Late.
1 point.
and they blew it. I think they gave up like 17 points in the fourth quarter.
So-
they had it up.
Forgive me here, but Dane, I want you to talk about number 10 that went down.
Okay, of course. Yeah, my Michigan, they lost to Washington, which they were ranked 10 played against an unranked Washington, a national championship rematch from last year. And, yeah, it just wasn't good football. Michigan is definitely in a down year, quarterback issues, and Washington just got the best of them at the home
So,
game.
quick question: do you know who Michigan plays this week?
Michigan.
They might have a bye. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I know who they play.
who
You do.
does
Who do they
Michigan play?
They play U of I.
No, that's
at
next
U
week.
of I.
That's
Next week.
next
We got
week.
Purdue
That's
this
next
week. Yeah.
Oh wait, I thought we played Purdue last. No, we were on bye
No.
last week.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So
No,
we have Purdue, and then I think Illinois is going to give Michigan a run for their money.
I'll be
I
there,
think they
so
can.
hopefully they don't.
Oh.
I think they can. No, Illinois has been playing really well. Michigan, I really think it's a down year for them. I feel like
Oh.
they got to the highest of the highs. They won everything, and then obviously their quarterback, they've been having issues. After you lose such a great quarterback like JJ, it's kind of hard to kind of bounce back from that. Plus losing your coach, I mean,
Well, when you see a team, go out and win a national championship with a bunch of juniors and seniors, they get drafted. You win a national
Yeah.
championship, and those are the top guys in the league, and they're going to get drafted. And you see, it's really strange how it goes because, I'm obviously a big Michigan guy. I think all the Michigan guys should be playing in the NFL. And Blake Corum drafted to the Rams and should be a running back too there, especially when Kyron Williams
He'll get there.
is injured,
Yeah.
and they're not even letting him play.
He'll get there. He'll get his reps. I'm sure he's got to do the work, on the practice field and put in time. He's a rookie. He'll get there though. Big Ten is just tough all the way around. They always have been. Then they have the addition of 4 brand new teams, and Michigan felt the wrath of Washington there, who also kind of had a ton of people get drafted and transfer out in the portal.
yeah.
They lost 21 to 22 starters, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
insane.
Washington lost pretty much
That's
their
so
entire
many.
team
Yeah.
last year.
Reason I bring up Big Ten is they have a lot of teams ranked, and then one that nobody's talking about, unbeaten Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't want to play them.
No.
Now, adjusting from the Big Ten, I want to ask Chuck, who's your favorite football team?
All right, so on that topic of off seasons, I'm a Florida State fan. So, not only are we terrible, but now playing with our backup QB for the rest of this season, most likely, as DJU is out getting surgery on his finger. So
And that might be a good thing.
Honestly,
it is looking
that
like a
might
good
be
thing,
good
actually. Yep.
Yeah, maybe they can, develop some chemistry with that second quarterback and,
Yep.
and get things moving on offense
Mm-hmm.
because it has not looked pretty.
Yeah.
No.
What were they? They were like top 10 preseason,
We
right?
started 10 preseason rankings and then immediately out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they lasted 2 weeks,
Yep.
still ranked. And then, who was their second loss?
We lost 2 straight games, Boston College and
Boston
Georgia
College.
Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston College. Everyone was like, okay, yeah, cool. Boston College is gonna be bad, and then they've been playing really well.
They're
They
playing good
They
football.
played
Yeah.
really well against Florida State. I think overall, yes, it is a down year for them, but they're still playing decent football.
Yes.
Like it's a lot of different guys from last year. They were
Mhm.
great last year, got snubbed out of the playoffs, but it was the same position Michigan's in, where they have a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors, and a lot of guys got drafted. So
Yeah.
it's you got to expect to have a team like that.
Mhm.
How do you guys feel about Mizzou? They were preseason pick to go to the playoff. They were number 9 this week. They lost in just horrible fashion
Yeah.
to Texas A&M, and then they dropped all the way down to number 21. Do you think that's like, are they appropriately ranked? Are they still ranked too high, ranked too low?
Well, that was the first real big game they played. Mizzou played. I think they had one other decent ranked matchup at Boston College. I think it
Yeah,
was.
Boston
Yeah.
College
Yeah.
is ranked. With
And
them, yeah.
they were down in the first half to Boston College. They came back. Luther Burden had a big game, but I think that it's fair. It's a fair ranking if you only play one team that's matches your level and you lose to them. I think
You just
it's-
get blown out, not even just lose.
Yeah,
to them.
yeah. It was not pretty at all. So.
It did not look good for them.
Yeah.
I got to catch a little bit of that game, and basically from the start, they were slow, just kind of sluggish. Didn't look great.
They have a ton of talent though, so I think they're appropriately ranked by like staying in, the last 5 of that top 25. They could probably crawl their way back into a playoff conversation, but it's going to be tough because they do have one of the easiest schedules in the SEC. They do have a matchup with Alabama coming up though. That could probably get them back up to top 10 if they knock them off, but I don't think Bama's losing the rest of the way.
No.
No, Bama's going to go through this rest of the season, chip on their shoulder. Everyone's looking at them right now as weak because they lose to this Vanderbilt team. But I mean, you can have an off game, you can have a bad season, but Bama doesn't have bad seasons. They have bad weeks. Every year it happens. They have a bad week, they get kind of beat up on, and then very next week they show everyone, yeah, this is still Alabama. We're still going to play some Alabama football.
Okay, so we've got a couple big matchups this weekend. I know it's homecoming weekend. Everybody's going to be busy with Hoko on Saturday, but it's a great day for college football. Which one of those matchups are you looking forward to the most, Logan?
Oklahoma, Texas, the Red River rivalry. It's big every year. They don't even
Say
play
that
it.
10 times fast.
Yeah, no.
Jeez.
They don't even play it at either of those stadiums. They play it in Dallas because they need the more room for how big that game is every single year. I mean, I went on a visit to Oklahoma last year to try and see if I was going to go to college there. And when they mentioned that pretty much it's a ghost town in Norman when it's Texas week because everyone leaves. They take the day off Friday and Thursday. All classes are canceled, and everyone goes down to Dallas to watch Oklahoma play Texas. And it's one of the most historic ones. Oklahoma's kind of been dominating it for the past decade.
Now, of the 3 matchups that we're going to look forward to this weekend, that's the one where you can kind of take the rankings and throw them out the window. I know Oklahoma's 18, Texas is number 1,
Yep.
but it really doesn't matter in a rivalry game like that.
No.
Kind of like Ohio State and Michigan when they play, it doesn't matter. It's
It
going to
does
be
not
close.
matter.
The game I'm looking forward to is 2 top 3 teams, Ohio State and Oregon, in the Big Ten. I think Ohio State's going to have their hands full. I've got Oregon winning that game.
Hope so.
I could see that happening. Oregon's a pretty good team this year.
Chuck?
I'm not gonna lie, I think Ohio State's real good this year, honestly. So I'm taking Ohio State there.
They are. They're tough. All right. And then the last one, we got to bring this up for Officer Shank. His Ole Miss Rebels are playing. They're number 9 against number 13, the Tigers of LSU.
I mean,
You guys got there.
I have Ole Miss. I think right now they are one of the best teams in college football.
I agree. I like Jackson Dart a lot.
I didn't look it up where it's at, but I'm pretty sure the way it was listed, it's at LSU. And if it's at Death Valley, I can never pick against them. But I just think the home team wins.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. You saw it with Washington and Michigan.
Yeah. No,
Home
it's
team, home
always harder to play an away game,
Oh.
especially in the Big Ten and especially in the SEC. That's football country. You go there, that stadium is rocky. You can feel it for miles.
Yeah.
All right, I forgot to say, if anybody has any questions or topics they want us to talk about, you can go ahead and mention it in the chat. We've already got Cranford up here saying Boomer Sooners.
in the chat.
But anyway, yeah, let us know. We can talk about that. I want to move forward to baseball. Chuck, I know you said it's not a big sport that you pay a lot of attention to. Do you have a favorite team? Is it just because they're local?
It's
or-
got to go with the Cardinals because they're local. I just grew up that way. Yeah.
All right, so we're deep into the ALDS and NLDS. I think one team has moved on, maybe two.
The Tigers.
The Tigers.
Oh, they
The
clinched.
Tigers.
All right, so two have
beat
moved
the,
on.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Ooh, Cleveland out in the first round of the Tigers. That's crazy. I think Tariq Skubal is an insane starting pitcher, but I don't think the Tigers have the firepower to beat the Yankees or the Royals.
I mean, the firepower does not matter in postseason baseball. The Tigers are the hot team, and the hot team wins in postseason baseball. You see it all the time. The last 2 times the Cardinals have won the World Series, in 2006 they were an 83-win team that just the whole division was down, and they won the division with 83 wins, and they were hot. They beat a Phillies team that they shouldn't have beat, and they beat the Tigers, who they really shouldn't have beat either. And the hot team wins in the postseason.
So I think I'm hearing a board bet here. How about I take the winner of the Yankees and Royals, and you take the Tigers, and whoever wins that series wins the bet.
Okay. Deal.
And Logan gets to pick what the loser has to do
Whoa.
on the podcast.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it right now. We're not going to put you on the spot now. We'll
I'll
let you
think
guys
about
know
it.
next week what that bet's going to be. But I got the Yankees, the Royals. Dane's got the Detroit Tigers. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
On the NL side of things, the Mets moved past the Phillies, knocked them off. That was an upset. Edwin Diaz closed out the ninth last night, and I'll be honest, I was kind of shocked. I thought the Phillies, with all the pop they have in their lineup, were going to do something. But like you said, the hot team, the Mets move on.
And it was electric, dude. Lindor grand slam. It was, when something like that happens, it's just like, it's so cool to see. I love watching the slow-mo replays. He hits the ball and there's a slight delay and all the fans jump up, and it's just like, it really, momentum is the biggest thing in a baseball game.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's not about who has the better hitters, who has the better batting average. It's just about the momentum. And momentum, it's like that in a lot of sports, but baseball especially, it's just like, you
hit that grand slam, and it just knocks the wind out of the other
Yeah.
team sometimes.
I mean, I feel like it's like that with the whole season. I mean, if you look at the 2 teams that we're saying are hot right now, they've been hot for months. The Mets and Tigers were both counted out pretty much at the All-Star break. I mean, the Mets were a little higher, but, I mean, the Tigers, no one thought was going to even make the playoffs. The Mets were barely there, and then they have a grimace. Like, the McDonald's mascot
Grimace,
show up,
man.
and their entire season turns around. They pretty much turned into one of the best teams in baseball for the past few months. The Tigers are doing the same thing. They've traded everything. They look like they were about to go into a full rebuild. And I mean, to be able to do that with guys that other teams maybe didn't want, I mean, these 2 teams are playing like they want it.
I get it. The hot team wins more often than not in the postseason, but I got to go with the best starting pitching rotation when it comes to a 7-game series, which is what's going to happen in the ALCS and NLCS. The last matchup of the NLDS, big-time rivalry. I'm a sucker for a rival, so I want the Padres to beat the Dodgers in Game 5. What do you guys think is going to happen? What do you want to happen?
I think the Padres will take it. I would love to see the Dodgers go. I hate the Dodgers, but I think that this team, if they don't go, it's kind of more upsetting than seeing a young Padres team win.
Then they're going to spend $2 billion next year. if
So
they
then
don't.
you're going to see a completely different lineup again. And it's mainly, I absolutely love 2 players on the Dodgers, and that is Shohei Ohtani, which I don't
And
think
it's got
anyone
to be
hates
Mookie,
him,
right?
and Freddie Freeman.
Oh, I like Freddie.
I've loved Freddie Freeman
Great
forever.
guy.
It killed me when he went to the Dodgers, even though I hate the Braves. I've always hated the Braves because
You just don't like good teams.
No, well the Braves weren't good for a while.
Me either. I'm a Cubs fan.
Yeah, no, I hated the Dodgers because the Cardinals could never beat them, and especially in the past few years when we go to the wild card, play the Dodgers, and I would have to watch Chris Taylor hit a home run, and it was disgusting. But I've never liked the Dodgers, and the Braves. They always either really good or really bad. This year it was pretty bad.
They fell off hard.
Well, they lost a lot
Acuna.
of guys.
Yeah, when you don't have Acuna, it's tough.
Yeah, when you don't have, I'd argue that he's the second best player in baseball behind Shohei Ohtani, because
I
Ohtani.
think most people would agree with you.
Yeah, Ohtani is probably the best all-around baseball player that we've ever seen.
I mean, I feel like it's not even close.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever done anything close to what he's
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, having a 50-50 season this year and closing that out with a
Those numbers will
LSU.
regress next year when he's pitching.
Well,
Yeah,
but
but-
that's the thing.
But it's still wild
that's
that it
the
happened.
thing. If there's a guy that's so good that he has to focus on two things in a game where nobody focuses on two things.
We'll never see an
Everyone-
Ohtani again. We'll
No.
see
No.
people who try to emulate it, and it's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you see it in the minors, guys who they can do both, but then you can never fully
They
translate.
always
it.
drop one when they
Yeah,
get to the
they
majors.
always-
every time.
Yeah, you can never translate. Okay, we're going from. Okay, I'm gonna hit every game and I'm gonna pitch in the same game to playing in the field the next game. Guys usually struggle on
I
one.
can't remember the dude's name. I think it's Brendan McKay. That was
Brendan McKay.
Yeah.
he was a
Rays.
Rays prospect. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to focus on one. He was supposed to be, pitcher and hitter. Same thing with that. There was a guy just in the draft last year. Was it not
Caglione.
Is,
Yeah,
Does
Jack
he pitch
Caglione.
too?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
he's gonna hit. Is what he's gonna do.
Oh
Yeah,
well, I
the
mean, you can't
Angels
take-
starting.
He crushes.
Yeah,
You can't
Logan
take
O'Hop
the-
from the Angels.
Mhm.
He used to pitch. He was a
And now he's a catcher.
shutout pitcher.
That's wild.
Yeah, and now he catches.
You can't take the bat out of Caglione's hands though. Like
Never.
you cannot take the bat away from him.
Yeah,
no
he has
matter how
unreal
good a
like
pitcher he is.
Alonzo type power too.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. That was the thing with Ohtani. It was you couldn't take him off the mound, and you also couldn't take him
Yeah.
from the plate. He had to do both.
That's
And
why I
he
think there'll
just-
never be another one.
No, I don't think there will
Yeah.
be either.
All right, so Chuck, Game 5, Padres at the Dodgers, Dodger Stadium. Who you got?
I'm gonna take the Padres. I hate the Dodgers, so I'll give you that right there.
You know what? I think it's going to happen too because if you looked at the first couple games at Dodger Stadium, the way that Tatis interacts with the opposing team's fans is so funny, and it's electric for him. When he makes them upset, it just fuels him to hit another home run. Like,
Oh.
he hit a couple, didn't he, on
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah, I think Tatis is going to have a big game. Padres move on.
Well, do we know the pitching matchup? I know Yu Darvish is going.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, that's all I know is Darvish.
I have it.
The Dodgers tried to save someone because they had a bullpen game last night.
Yeah, well, I think Yu Darvish is going, but I don't know.
I think
who's
I'd take
going
Darvish
for
versus whoever they throw.
Actually, the Dodgers haven't
it's
announced
to
yet.
be determined.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's-
weird.
it's
They had a
Darvish.
bullpen game. You think they
It's
would have like a
tomorrow.
plan.
Yeah, so we could see if the Dodgers definitely had a bullpen game last game. I mean, we can try and guess. Who do you think they put the ball in?
I don't know if I trust anyone in the Dodgers rotation right now.
I would love to say Jack Flaherty, but he's not good enough to win a game 5.
No, I mean he's going to get you a lot of Ks, but
Yeah.
he's susceptible to a blow up too. He had a good season though. The last 2 years he's been pretty decent.
When did Kershaw last pitch?
I don't know. That's who I'm saying I would trust the most is probably Kershaw,
See,
just
but-
because he's.
But
I know he has.
the history.
No, you all
in
think
the
he has the history
postseason.
in the postseason. That's a recency bias and a home.
Is it?
It's a home field thing that you guys are thinking because the Cardinals have blown him up.
The Cardinals
Clayton
won the-
Kershaw's postseason stats, if you look them up, they are really good. He is a fantastic generational pitcher, regular season and postseason. He's had a couple of mistakes, and you guys just saw him on TV
Well, I
because
mean-
it was the Cardinals.
Well,
I
I
didn't say a
mean,
word.
he did the Astros.
Now he does
He
have
does the
nightmares
Astros.
of Matt Adams all the time.
Yes.
100%.
But no, I think I trust him. I mean, he's got to be the best pitcher of this generation.
Well, and
No, by far.
see it happen. You're gonna throw everything you got. If it's a one-run game, you're gonna throw a starter in there in the 8th inning
Oh.
just because. I mean, you saw the Giants do it with Madison Bumgarner in the 2015,
yeah, it's
2014.
all
World
hands
Series.
on deck in
I mean,
Game 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're up against elimination, you just throw everything you have out there just to survive and move on.
Absolutely. I see Chuck over here on the other side of the screen squirming. He does not talk baseball. So we're going to move on from that. I'm going to do my little interview with Chuck. Chuck, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm a junior here at Civic Memorial. I play basketball, and in my career here at the high school, I've played soccer, I've ran track, so I've done a couple different sports, but basketball's always been my main sport that I enjoy the most.
I noticed you forgot one sport,
Yeah.
golf. I heard you golf this year.
So yeah, I picked up golf this year. More as just kind of a leisure, kind of fun thing to
Yeah.
take my mind off basketball for a little bit,
That's what's up.
Yep.
Yeah, I've
Try to
heard a
stay
lot of
healthy,
good
too.
vibes from the golf team this
Oh
year.
yeah, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot.
Well, if you're looking for a fall sport, you don't play football, you don't play soccer, you want to be able to do something that's pretty chill and fun at the same time, try golf out because it sounds like they're all having a great time. Chuck, do you know anything about like where you want to go to college in the future, or what you want to do after high school?
So I've been kind of bad with that. I haven't put much thought into it, but there's one thing that I definitely want to play basketball for as long as I can after high school. So that would mean trying to go to college and play somewhere. I've never been a kid who's like puts themselves way higher than they are, trying to go somewhere big. Just anywhere I can go, who will take me? I just want to play. So yeah.
I haven't seen too many people that like truly love the game of basketball as much as you. So this next question might put you on the spot a little bit. We'll
Okay.
see if Dad's watching, see what he thinks. But are you open to doing what Cobb or Jaquan have done and play overseas?
Oh, 100%.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
Get to see the world and
Exactly.
get paid to play ball.
Yeah.
That's the
100%.
dream.
I'd love that. Yeah.
All right, so I hear that you've had a pretty cool seat for the home football games this year.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, so with my dad taking the announcer job this year, I get to sit up in the press box and I help spot for him so he can make calls and say Jacob Flowers makes a tackle. I see he made the tackle and I can tell my dad, and we kind of go from there. So yeah, it's been awesome, and you get a great view up there too. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
That's
got
awesome.
the binoculars going? Are you?
Yep, we
are
do
you-
got
are
some
you going?
binoculars up there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so what I want to do, since we have Chuck on here, he is a CM basketball player. Logan, CM basketball player. Dane, undecided for now, but we're going to hope he plays basketball this year. No pressure. We're going to talk some MVC basketball. I want predictions on the conference this year. What you guys saw from last year, what you expect to see this year. Let's start with who we think finishes at the bottom.
Bottom?
I've got my team. If you guys don't want to say
With
it,
my heart, I'm going Jerseyville.
100%.
and that's
I'd
not
say-
hate to Jerseyville.
No hate.
Oh, it's
A little
Yeah,
bit. It's a little bit of hate.
it's
to
a
Jerseyville.
little-
It's a little bit
There
of
might
hate.
be something there.
Shout out Jackson Bruno. You are a heck of a player.
great ball player.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen some times where you just kind of kicked our butt a little bit,
Mhm.
especially in the fourth quarter at Jerseyville last year. But I'm sorry, bud. You're going 0-2 against us this year.
Yep.
Jerseyville's probably going to finish at the bottom. Not that they're a bad team at all.
Mm-mm.
They're going to bring it every night. That's what our league does.
Yep.
MVC does it. Every single team in the league.
Yeah.
But I got them finishing sixth.
No, I mean, this is now my fifth year that I've either played against or just watched a game of Jackson Bruno play. He's tough to guard. He's a great player. I've played him in AAU. I've played him in school. He's good, and he's gonna be the biggest part of Jerseyville's team.
You
this
have
year.
to force him to make mistakes. So I noticed I was doing a little research like I do randomly throughout the day, and I saw that when we played at Jerseyville, what killed us was he kind of turned up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Our offense stalled. We turned the ball over, only scored 1 point in the fourth. But at home, we won by 15, and he still balled out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he had 11 turnovers.
Yep.
If you can force him to make mistakes and just kind of, I mean, it doesn't have to be, our number one or number two option. Everybody in our team's capable, and if you can force him to make those mistakes, then you're going to be successful.
And that's another thing with the home versus away is the momentum thing we were talking about in baseball.
Yeah.
You have a whole crowd behind you cheering you on. You just have that extra kick, and you're just there, and you feel it. You really do. And
So, what did you guys think about the energy at the, not to cut you off here, I want to go with the momentum, but the energy in the assembly today? Because I talked to Jarman, and we're going to try in the future to set up something cool. We're going to reach out to some schools, see if we find someone that kind of bites on it. But we'd like to do a game in the daytime
Yes.
where everyone just comes for like an
Yes.
assembly game.
Mm.
And then the next year we go there and play there. How
That'd be-
cool would that be as a
that
home
would-
team to
that'd be
play in that
so
atmosphere?
That'd be
That'd be
amazing.
dope.
That'd be awesome.
And then
That'd
Chuck,
be-
how would you feel like as a visiting player where you don't have anyone in the stands? It's all their students.
It'd be tough. That'd be a tough game. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that right now.
How sweet would it be to win though?
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
the road team and you
Oh.
get to shut them all up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of similar to like an NFL game. Me going to Titans games, I've watched the Titans lose at home a lot, and it's such an eerie, like quiet gasp
Yes.
when the Bengals beat us in the divisional round a couple years ago. There's the few fans that go crazy, and it's just the strangest, because it's not quiet during any part of the game
I
ever.
think the closest thing we get to that in St. Louis is probably a Blues game where they
Yeah.
dominate the amount of fans there.
Yeah.
Because if you go to Cardinal games like versus the Cubs, big rivalry
Yeah.
like that, it's
There's
like
a
more
bunch of
50-50.
Yeah.
But with any like close teams like that, I mean, if you go to any team in Ohio, their games are always like if it's a rivalry game. So say the Browns are playing the Bengals, every once in a while when it happens, it's a split, like right down the middle. When U of I plays Northwestern, if they're at Northwestern, it's a split right down the middle.
That bragging rights basketball game, Illinois and Mizzou.
Every year.
It literally is a line down the middle. Illinois fans have to buy tickets on one side, Mizzou on the other.
Yeah,
I try to go every year.
Me and my
it's so
dad
fun.
go every year. It's become like a tradition. And 2 years ago, we bought tickets in the wrong section, and we were completely surrounded by Mizzou fans. But it was the year Mizzou destroyed U of I. It was horrible.
I think I might have been moving.
Yeah,
I couldn't sit in that section and take that butt.
I was sitting there with my dad, and in front of us, college people, behind us, just two old dudes. We left probably in the beginning of the third quarter because it was that bad. We were down by 30 at one point.
The year before that, we won a close one.
Yeah, it's
I sat
transfer
with
year.
we were right by the Illinois band, so
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
No, being by the band is always awesome because I'm never the person to be like super into a game if I'm sitting in like the 200s, but if I'm like right next to the band, it's hard not to get into it. I mean, even in our school, if you notice the people next to the band, they're usually the loudest.
For sure. And shout out our band. Our band is killing it too. We don't get to talk about them enough. They're crushing competitions, and it doesn't matter what's going on Friday night scoreboard wise. They bring it every time.
Every time.
For sure.
All right, so let's move on here. Talk a little bit of NBA before we get off here. So, Chuck, I expect to hear from you a little more on this sport than baseball for sure. Just you don't have to wait till you're spoken to. You can just hop in and say whatever you want. I do want to start off with like MVP predictions. Everybody's got to pick one. It's okay if it's the same one though. Chuck, I'll let you go first.
I'm going with a favorite. I'm going with SGA out of Oklahoma City.
Ooh, shit.
Yep, that's my guy right there. So.
Okay.
He's been an underdog. I feel like he could have won it last year and kind of got pushed out at the very end. Mine, it's unpopular because people are tired of him, but it's Jokic. I think he's still the best player in basketball, and I think last year he probably could have won it. I think Embiid, like he won it rightfully, but I think it was a toss-up between those two.
He was my MVP. I had him over Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, toss-up between those two. Embiid played a great season, but he was hurt for a lot of it. Jokic is consistent. He wins, and it's guaranteed double-double pretty much.
Who you got, Dane?
Well, if anyone was wondering, Tulio thinks Peyton Pritchard's the MVP, just so everyone knows. So he has
Flowers says Tatum.
He is Peyton Pritchard. Personally, I'm gonna go with Ja Morant, just because he is a stud. And
I hope you're right. That is my
He
favorite
is-
player, my favorite team. I'd go crazy. if
I
he
love
won MVP.
watching. I'm not a big NBA guy, but I love watching his dunks, dude. It's crazy how high up in the air he gets.
He tries to hurt somebody.
Oh,
when he
I
does
know,
it.
and
It is personal.
it's very personal. and I
His
love it.
senior year at Murray State, they played SIUE because
I
they were in
remember
the same
that.
conference. They were here, and me and my dad
Yes.
went to that game.
Dropped like 45 on our heads.
Yeah,
Yep.
It was on Balls
On
Live.
Balls.
It was something. You knew as soon as you watched him, like in warm-ups, you're like, yeah, that guy's going high in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't care that he goes to Murray
That's
State.
when I knew who he was that game. I went to SIU games all the time, saw him play, and I was like, what? Is this guy like trying to be like Cameron Payne? Because that's a throwback. He went to Murray State too, and he did the same thing. He scored 50 on SIUE. He was wild. And I was like, man, that'd be cool if he was half as good as Cam Payne. And then, March Madness happened, and then I was like, please go to Memphis, and he did, so I got lucky. But I'm not going to go with Ja Morant. I do think that the last 5 years it's been Embiid and Jokic back and forth, and just centers, really big guys, double machines. This year it's going to change. Luka is your MVP.
That's
He's
a
going
good
to
pick. That's a
average
good pick.
really close to a triple double if he doesn't get it. And
think-
I think he's MVP this
That's a
year.
good
I
pick.
think I could see him definitely averaging a triple-double. I mean, he caught up to like half of the NBA ever last year, and I mean, if he keeps rolling, I think he could just go all the way.
I'm going to start on this side now. We'll go back as far as Rookie of the Year. My heart wants to say Zach Edey, and it hurts to say that because I hate Purdue. I hate Zach Edey, but he's on the Grizzlies. So if he ended up being Rookie of the Year, that would be fantastic for my team. But my head says it is Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. and he kind of hurts my heart too because UConn destroyed Illinois in the
Ugh.
tournament last year.
That was ugly.
It was
It
painful.
was really bad. Who you got, Dane?
I'm gonna go with Zach Edey. I guess I'm going Memphis sweep. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of talk about the calls he got in college basketball. You know, a lot of people were talking about how the refs were definitely giving him some calls that he might have.
He lived in the lane.
I know
Yeah.
he did, and
Never got out.
No, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Zach Edey. He's a big guy, physical, and just a good scorer too.
That's what Memphis needs, honestly. They've got the guard play with Bain and Morant, and then you move Tripp down from being a center sometimes. You move him down to the 4, and I think with Brandon Clark and Edey mixing in and out at the 5, I think they're going to be tough.
I'm struggling to pick between two. One is I think he could either have an amazing season or just completely kind of fall off, sit on the bench the entire time, and that's Dalton Connect, or
Ooh.
however you say his
Yeah,
name, out
yeah,
of
from
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Lakers. Granted, I'm a Lakers fan. I watch every Lakers game, but seeing him at Tennessee, his game pretty much translate directly to the NBA. He's tall,
Oh, yeah.
lanky, he can shoot,
Yeah.
he can score.
Well, and he is very old for the draft, actually, this year, being 23 years old,
Yeah,
getting
23.
drafted. So all that sounds to me is more experience, you know?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
it's a
season
great
ready
pick.
to go right off the bat.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
great pick.
Before Chuck says his, Day, I know you're watching. Stop talking about Bronny. He is not going to be the guy from the Lakers. That's
What
in
do you
the
have?
conversation.
2 points in his
No,
day,
Bron.
preseason debut.
2 points. Hey, he had.
I know you love
couple-
LeBron, but Bronny ain't doing it.
He was,
some
he was
blocks.
playing some pretty good D.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Cranford
he looked
says
good on
Bronny.
defense, but
Kramer says Bronny.
no.
That's
And
Jared
then
McCain in
the
there.
other one, Flowers, Jared McCain. I think he.
That's
could
actually
have-
Matt Welcher.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, never
Foolish
mind.
flower.
Foolish. I thought it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it was Jake Flowers too the first time I saw it. That's
Jared,
Matt
Jared
Welcher.
McCain again.
Okay,
I
we
could
see Jared McCain.
I
we
could
got
see
it.
Jared McCain winning Rookie of the Year.
Wait, is that's that kid out of Duke?
That's
that
They
shooter.
got the NIL.
That
with
Yeah, with the
shooter.
oh
fingernail.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he can shoot the ball.
Everyone's a
Everyone's
shooter.
like,
TikTok star.
Yes,
Yeah.
TikTok
Mhm.
star. Everyone's like, oh, he's
Where
soft.
did he get drafted?
Like
Philly.
Philly.
Yep.
Like
Oh
fifth?
yeah.
Eighth?
It was early.
It was
No,
early.
it was fifth, around 15, I think. It was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of
later,
that's a
about mid-
rough
mid-first.
that's a rough place to go though because they're kind of set. Like I think they're projected to be like a top 3 seed in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at
He gets
the
a
same-
playing time though.
Yeah, well, he's
Mhm.
getting playing time.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting it all summer. But I mean, put him in there with Maxi Embiid and who else did they just get? Did they get Paul George?
Yes.
He's there.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Paul George. I mean, that's set up for. He's a point guard. He's great. He makes great passes. He shoots. That's kind of a setup to shoe him in at Rookie of the
Does he
Year.
facilitate well too? I know he was a shooter
Oh.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get to
Great
watch a
ball
lot of
handler.
Duke.
At
games.
Duke, it was okay.
I
This
don't
guy
know
can
too.
pass really well. We
Yeah,
kind of need
I
to
hate
get in the
Duke.
lanes, so they were leaving him open, and that's when he really kicked it in. He was averaging like 9 assists before he was averaging 10 points.
Jeez. Okay, Chuck, who you got?
I'm going with Stephon Castle also, yeah. 4th overall pick, yeah.
All right.
I think that his defense is going to translate,
Yes.
and that's going to get him playing time. And once he gets playing time, I think his athleticism can create, and I think he'll be a great player in the
I
NBA.
think he's going to start off a 3-and-D guy.
Yep,
but,
exactly, yes.
But yes, he can absolutely make stuff happen on offense when he gets
Mhm.
the ball. And I totally agree. I
Yeah.
think he's the guy.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to know who you predict to be the NBA champion. And that being said, I want one dark horse that no
Okay.
one's thinking about to make the playoffs.
The playoffs. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Not me. That's for sure.
I'll go. I'll start it. The championship, I think the Nuggets are going all the way. I think they're going to win. They still have pretty much the exact same team that they did when they won a few years ago. And I know this isn't like part of it, but Russell Westbrook, I think, is a pretty good candidate for 6th Man of the Year because he knows his role now. At the Clippers, he was like, I want to start still, but he knows his role. I think that's going to add a spark to that team that they really needed last season. And dark horse for the playoffs, I think everyone's kind of looking over them because of how horrible they were last year. I think the Detroit Pistons
Yes.
will sneak
Welcher
in,
agrees.
whether it's through the play-in or they actually just get in.
Oh,
I think
play-in, I
they
forgot
are
about
going
that.
to. I think they're going to be a very good team this year, and everyone's going to underestimate them because, man, you cannot underestimate how much they sucked last year.
Yeah, they're
It
terrible.
was bad.
I think they were way better than their record, and Brian Lambert, my buddy out there, he's been calling it since last year, before this draft happened, that he thinks the Pistons will go as well.
I mean, Jaden Ivey, I know it's preseason, but Jaden Ivey looks like he's ready to take over the league.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump in because my pick is also, I think Cade is a dog as well. Welcher said that. But, yeah, Cade is going to lead Detroit to the playoffs. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be, 7 seed, a 6 seed, something like that. They'll get into the play-in game in the 10th spot probably, but that would be so much, like infinitely better than last year. And then for my NBA Finals champions, I hate to say it, but Jason Tatum's bringing another one back to St. Louis. They're going to win again.
Yeah. I think that's a very popular one right now. Obviously, Tulio's in there. Lonnie Walker.
He says Lonnie.
Lonnie Walker, Finals MVP.
Yeah, for my champions, I'm thinking. I think I'm going back to back with the Celtics. Also, I'm doing that for. I got family who likes the Celtics, and I like the Celtics, and it's tough. It's gonna be tough to beat the Celtics. I think everybody knows that. So, I think they're gonna go back to back. And then for a sleeper, I think the Rockets. I think the Rockets have a good young
They're
team.
tough.
They just got Reed Shepherd in the draft, who I think is a great ball player. I think he'll be a great guard on that team. They got young guys like Jalen Green, who still hasn't really showed all what he can do, I think. So.
That's a great answer. I honestly didn't even think of Houston because
Yeah.
I have them penciled in a playoff spot at the 8th seed. So,
Yeah.
so I agree. Dane, you're up.
NBA champion. I think I'm gonna go off the grid. I'll go 76ers.
I thought you were going to say Memphis with your other picks.
No,
I thought we
I
converted
can't just
you.
keep saying Memphis Grizzlies,
Memphis,
dude.
all the way.
Yes, everything Memphis Grizzlies. No, I think I'm gonna go with the 76ers.
Good pick.
Joel Embiid, MVP, good young ball player. He's not young, but as long as he can stay away from injuries, I
Hey,
think
he's younger than me.
that's not doing anything for me. So, for the dark horse, I was gonna say the Rockets. Chuck took my answer. I'm still gonna go with the Rockets. I think that they're a young team, good team. They weren't very good, and they might just sneak in.
All right, so we got a little bit of time left. We'll go over some CM stuff here. Okay, so cross country won the Madison County Invitational 2 days ago. This is the second year actually 5th year in a row they've won.
It's been a while.
Fifth year they've won the small schools. That's crazy. There was a little bit of like coaching differences, I guess. So what happened was they ran at Peoria, and then Peel said, "I'm starting my guys. Why not? We're winning 5 in a row. We don't care."
Yeah.
So he started his guys. Edwardsville pulled all of their starters for the large school division, and they ended up getting second. So I thought that was weird that they were resting all theirs. Peel said, "No, we're winning. We're not resting." And Max Weber, the overall champion, because they all run together.
Yeah.
And then they split up the small and large school points. Max Weber, overall champion, back to back. So shout out Max again.
Yeah. No, and not even just Max. Everyone was up there. I think
We had 5 or 6 in the top 9.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 or 6. I know Landon,
Yeah,
the
Tulio,
Cranfords,
Landon,
Tulio.
both Cranfords. I can't remember how many were in there, but it was a
No,
lot.
when we say cross country's still dominant, we mean it.
Oh, yeah. This is becoming a Max Weber fan.
Yeah,
Max
Max,
Weber-
stop being so good because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
everyone's going to say that I can't stop talking about you. So-
Max Weber fan club.
Yeah.
Well,
right
yeah,
here.
let's get top 10 at state, and then, we'll stop
Then
talking
you
about
can
Max.
fall off. It's all right.
Yeah. Golf and tennis are coming to an end. They've got, sectionals coming up, so we'll talk about that more next week. Soccer had a huge 7-2 win over Highland this week,
Yeah.
which they lost 6-1 to them previously.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting that at all. But like you said last week, soccer's starting to turn it up. They
Yeah.
started out slow, and now it's
Nathan
playoff
Taylor,
time.
man, he's a stud.
No, Nate and Willie have been
Yeah.
crushing it.
They actually play Jerseyville tonight, so another conference match. So I think it's at Jerseyville. If anyone wants to travel out there, go support the soccer team. And then, what we have to talk about, homecoming football game tomorrow night versus Waterloo. What are your predictions, fellas?
I'll start. I'll break the ice. I mean, I'm supportive. I really am.
Yeah.
I love football. I love Memorial football. So I'm gonna say we can make it somewhat watchable. And I mean that really kindly because we are in a hard football conference. We really are. We
Yeah,
play hard football
100%.
teams.
Ton of injuries right now, too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think for our homecoming game, Waterloo got crushed by Triad this year. I haven't seen any other scores.
They're
today.
5-1,
Five.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, they're doing
So-
pretty good.
unless they lost last week. Like, they were 4-1.
I'll look it up.
I don't know who they played.
Yeah, I'm not sure they played. Logan's gonna look that up, but
But
yeah,
I mean-
there's injuries. Who do we have injured? I know Flowers is out.
We got
Flowers is out.
Flowers,
Kavan
Kavan,
got
Parker.
a high ankle sprain.
Oh, they're both out. Or Kavan's out.
Tanner.
I don't know if
Kavan's
he's
out.
gonna play.
Tanner's
Sure.
out. For JV Bruckner, I don't know if he plays a lot of varsity. I think he would get some plays, but
Mhm.
he's out for a long time.
He
Sorry,
was
Miles.
he was starting last week, filling in for the injuries
Yeah.
on
Jeez.
varsity, and he's out now. Yeah, we got a lot of guys injured. It's a low point right now. but
Yeah.
that's all right.
No, I'll go next. I think Waterloo's a good team. I think we have been struggling, obviously, but I think homecoming game, it makes a difference to everyone. Everyone's
Yeah.
out. When I say that the student section is a completely different beast on homecoming, I mean we have huge bleachers and we'll pack them almost to the top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that could help us. I think our defense, even without Kavan, we can still hold pretty well. And our defense has looked good the past few weeks. Yes, it's a lot of scoring, but I mean, if we're
They
gonna
make
rely
some
on
big
it-
plays, though.
They do, especially towards the later in the game. If your defense is still playing as good as ours have been later in the game, and by that I mean when we're playing a varsity squad, if they can consistently play well, even if they're tired, if they're still playing hard, that's what matters because that's when games change.
Yeah, for sure. Dane, what you got?
Well, Waterloo last week we got it up. They beat the brakes off of Jerseyville, 50-15.
Yeah.
We lost to Jerseyville. I think it wasn't a bad game really.
We lost by like 3 or 4 possessions, but
I feel like that score really didn't show the type of game
it was
I
much
think.
closer, like right
Yeah.
around halftime and
Yeah.
the start of the
It
second
was,
half, and then it got away from us.
I mean, I'm looking at their max props right now. Waterloo and Jerseyville, it was 15-15 with 37 seconds left in that
Right
before the half.
halftime.
So I mean that score may have just kind of shot.
Look at
up
the
after
look at the
that.
yardage if they have anything on there. I know Waterloo's not the greatest about putting their stats on there, but was it a lot of rushing?
Where is their stats?
Because that's
Go to the box
Yeah, look
score
for
for
box
the
score
game.
because that's what Waterloo normally has done traditionally. Is they run the football well and they wear you down, and they're going to get 3 yards here, 3 yards there, and then later on they're running those plays in the first half to set up what they're going to do in the second half, and it sounds like that's what worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waterloo's tough, man. 5-1. They beat the brakes off Jerseyville. That's wild. I think I'm gonna say because it's homecoming, the first quarter we're going to keep it close. There's going to be one big time play that brings all the momentum our way. I don't think it's enough. I think Waterloo will run away with it by the end, but it's going to be, like you said, watchable. Even more than watchable, I think it's going to be entertaining for the
Exactly,
first
yeah.
quarter
Yeah.
because it is homecoming.
Well, and all of us are hoping that we just shock the world, man. It would be great to just.
Imagine you guys all storming that field
I
afterwards.
know,
Yeah.
like that would be
a slow
great.
storm.
So
Yeah,
it would be, but no, we're all behind the football team. I think we all agree with that, and
Yeah.
we want to see them all succeed.
Exactly.
And
absolutely. It's just, it's a rough week with everybody hurt, but to all the underclassmen, if you guys are watching and you guys are going to get a chance here. Show them what you've got. This is the chance that you've wanted all year. It's just an unfortunate circumstance of how you got the chance. You guys have anything else?
I'm good, I think.
No, I will say we touched on JV and stuff like that last week on like how everyone needs to be trying. Right now is what JV players are looking at.
Yes.
They are getting their chance to get in, and if they show out, that's how you get your playing time. It can happen in any sport, anytime. I mean, you go out there, say you're a freshman, you get put in, you make one tackle, that could change your entire season in coach's eyes where, oh, I trust this kid to be playing on my varsity team more.
Well, and you saw it last year in the basketball when Adam went out, Tanner Hokamp filled in. He had a huge game against Marquette.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
game.
he did.
And
Tanner had like 17 or 18 against Marquette.
Yeah, I want to see it at 18. But he facilitated well because without Adam, that was kind of missing, and he
Yeah.
stepped in that role, played great.
who will be starting quarterback? I believe it's got to be Jack Pine.
I believe it's
Yeah, I think
Jack.
Jack's healthy.
Tanner,
I think he's
He's
back.
got a little bit of a shoulder injury
Well,
he's dealing with, but it's nothing that's going to keep him
Tanner's
out.
out.
Well,
MCL
Tanner's
tear.
done for the
And
season.
our
All
second and
right.
third string are both out.
Well,
Yes, so-
And
wait,
fourth
who-
string, actually.
Is it Davey?
Well,
Davey good?
Davey's fine.
He's been. He doesn't normally. I haven't seen
No,
him get
He
reps.
is a
Davey-
quarterback. He
Davey's
is
a
a
quarterback.
quarterback. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trust me, he's the emergency quarterback for sure.
They
And
getting tight end reps.
skill wise,
Yeah.
yeah, he plays tight end. But I think skill wise, I've heard really good things about Davey. So,
No, me too, yeah.
so
Yes.
like obviously we hope Jack is healthy and 100%. And if he's not, and we have to go somewhere else because we don't have Tanner, I'm completely comfortable with Davey as long as he knows the offense.
Yeah.
So I do want to mention something about last week. We were talking about working hard, and I talked about Chuck saying he was the epitome of hard work. Chuck, what time we meeting on Tuesday morning at the gym?
We're meeting at 5:15 in the morning on Tuesday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But any other basketball players, if you're thinking about playing basketball, you want to get some shots up, we'll be here at 5:15 Tuesday morning. If you're as crazy as this guy, we'll see you there. Anybody else, if you want to be special guest, like Logan said previously, let us know. We're looking for somebody next week at 2:15 on Thursday. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks.